So you know the localization versus translation discourse is getting wild when folks that don't even normally cover anime, hell, when folks that don't even watch anime or read manga are taking note of the situation. Welcome back to Words Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, we got a boy, Smash JT, Grift JT, friend of the channel, talking about the AI-generated manga whose title translates to My Dear Wife, Will You Be My Lover, topping rankings in Japan's largest ebook store. This situation is hilarious. I want to see how well Smash covers it, considering this is not his realm, and there's still some people that might not have heard about this. So we're going to get into it. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and let's see what they got.
This comes to us from Anime Updates, an AI-generated manga, also known...
Okay, he got to be doing this on purpose. We have told him countless thousands of times it is manga. Guys, alright, look, I ain't trying to brigade my buddy here, but if you see the original video, which will be linked in the description down below, downvote it just because he said manga.
Known as manga, if you actually read it.
Okay, alright, never mind. The self-awareness kicked in. Still, fuck this guy.
Whose title translates to My Dear Wife, Will You Be My Lover, has topped the rankings of Japan's largest ebook store, CMOA. And I think this right here speaks to the point of what I've been trying to get across to all the AI haters online and on social media that are trying to push back, saying they're taking her gerbs. The people buying the products do not care.
Bingo, bango, bongo. 40 seconds in, he's already objectively correct. And I've said that about the vast majority of folks. Like, here's the dealio. How the product is made means nothing so long as the product is a good product. And if you disagree, well, I bet you're pretty anti-slavery. You probably shouldn't be typing your hate comments on the cell phone that you're using to watch this video then, because guess what? They use slave labor to get the components for those cell phones over in Africa and shit. Oh, but it'd be too inconvenient to give up your cell phone. Yes, if you're gonna be intellectually honest, acknowledge, we don't fucking care so long as it's a good product.
They will buy what appeases them. They might pretend like, oh, no, I totally won't buy AI-generated stuff. No, I don't agree with that. If it comes out, if it's good, if it's almost as important, cheap, people will gravitate towards it. That's not to say that there's not a market for authentic drawn, hand-drawn, or in game development, authentically code written without any AI. There will always be a market for that, and typically there'll be a combination of the two.
In fact, there will be probably a premium on that. Like, look, you can go to Walmart right now, and for $7 you can buy a basket. However, you want yourself a nice hand-woven basket by a fucking grandma that's 93 years old, has been doing it her entire life, you're gonna pay a premium. You're gonna pay a solid, I don't know, how much does a basket cost? Let's say a nice hand-woven basket is $30 compared to the $7 one at Walmart. But why do you pay the $30? You want that handcrafted from the heart goodness that Granny was able to give you. Yes, this is the exact same thing. Art will never go away. Hand-drawn art will never go away. In fact, the people making the art will probably be able to charge a little bit more because no AI was involved. This is a mutually beneficial arrangement.
But this right here points to exactly what I and many other people, I don't want to take all the credit for it, but this is what everyone's that knows what's happening has been saying for the longest time. Anime Updates provides the screenshot of the top
of the list, baby,
mangas, and the number one selling 100% AI generated. This is the future. And based off the cover photo, I can't say that I'm upset about it. This is from Automation. AI generated manga becomes top ranked in Japan's biggest ebook store. An AI generated manga has recently been topping Japan's biggest ebook store, Comic CMOA's young adult charts.
Now the question is, in what regard was the AI used? How much, like, was it just used for the art? Did they write out the story 100%, the dialogue, all that themselves, then just generate the art? Did the AI help them with the story? Now, at the end of the day, I actually don't care, because I do think that like I was saying earlier, if the product is a good enough product, people will buy it. Look, if they got an AI and they were able to generate enough instances of dialogue and conversation, maybe do some tweaking themselves, and then they were able to put AI generated images to that, I don't really think it matters. Is the story a good story? Yes? Oh, well then, like, this is really no different than people who, like, put out, let's say, good movies, even if they are completely politically opposite you. You know, Rob Reiner put out one of the greatest movies of all time, The Princess Bride. I'll never not consume The Princess Bride just because that dude's politics makes me upsetty spaghetti. Or I guess they did make me upsetty spaghetti. Just in case you guys hadn't heard, recently there was a little bit of news talking about Rob Reiner. I'll let you look it up for yourselves.
AI-generated manga is currently topping the young adult category of Japan's largest ebook store, Comics Simoa. While some reviews lean towards the positive side, the manga's rise through the ranks has others worried about the future of the industry. Again, if people want to make the art themselves, they can. If people are going to buy the AI generated instead of yours, that's where the future is going.
Well, I'm also curious why it says, you know, that people are worried about the future of the industry. For one, this is currently an outlier. Now, will it always be an outlier? Who's to say? But right now, this is very obviously an outlier. Most people are not going to have the technical skill, and most of the AI is not good enough without lots of regeneration and whatnot, assuming they're talking about generative AI, not even retranslate, but just like rewrite over and over to make sure you got exactly what you need. And even if this does become more or less like the norm, there are people that are going to still, like Smash saying, make their own manga. They're going to write it. They're going to draw it the whole line. But also, you still need the ideas to come from somewhere. People still got to pitch the ideas. They still got to get picked up in, you know, like Weekly Shonen Jump or whatever you're reading it out of. So, yeah, I don't, even if this does have ramifications for the industry or the future of the industry, I think we're a ways off from that. But I also don't think that the ramifications are near enough to be worried about, considering all the pre-prep that goes into actually getting a manga published.
It's no different than if you were in the business of selling horses and buggies and Henry Ford invented a car. You can't be like, no, don't do that mode of transportation because it's easier and more efficient than what I'm doing here, because that's going to destroy my business of selling the horses and carriages that I do over here. Released on December 28th, 2025, My Dear Wife, Will You Be My Lover, unofficial translation, is a 4-volume manga created by...
Okay, that's the unofficial translation. So it looks like the AI hasn't translated it to English yet. Because I believe that Japan uses DL Site. I could be wrong about that. DL Site for translation. So I guess this is something that's currently only available natively in Japan, which makes sense because they'll probably have to go through a whole new process of even if you use AI to translate it, you still need someone to do the oversight, make sure it comes off properly, things to that effect. So yeah, okay, it's good to know this is still currently only in Japanese.
Mamaya, and published by Studio Zune. The rather suggestive story revolves around a 35-year-old husband and wife who are having trouble rekindling the spark and some of the more mature aspects of their relationship.
I really want this to get animated, like for this to become an anime, but have, I don't know which would be funnier actually. Have real people make the anime that was the manga was made by AI, or to come full circle and have AI also make the anime, full frames, animation, voice acting. Like I don't know which would be sweeter to me, but either way, I want this to be made in anime because like regardless which route it goes, it'll be funny.
I don't know how they'd be struggling to get a spark if she looks like that. Okay, sounds like this guy might have a guy problem if he's having an issue here. Though many Comics Samoa user reviews focus on the art and the story writing of the manga, other reviews talk about its poor quality by AI standards. Elements like cut and pasted characters, wordy introduction dialogue, more similar to a novel, and plain-looking backgrounds were brought up, with the overall consensus being that the manga is just plain boring.
Look, I'm gonna be real. Somehow I doubt that. Something doesn't get to the top of the charts by being just plain boring. Well, then again, I don't know, didn't Alien Earth do pretty well? Anyway, by and large, people aren't spending their real life hard-earned money for something that just isn't good, or at least, maybe not isn't good, because that's, you know, subjective and whatnot, but something that isn't entertaining them. So they are getting something out of this just by virtue of it being at the top of the charts. That means there are people that are willing to spend their money to read this, to take in this entertainment. Now, I haven't seen the interior, so I don't know if the art is bland. I don't know if the art's boring, but let's be real. There's a lot of boring-ass manga out there that were made by people, too. Like, just the fact that it was made by AI is not the inherent reason it's boring. It could just be boring because the person that prompted the AI, whoever has the idea for the story, isn't necessarily a good writer or didn't, generate good enough art. So, like, there's plenty of boring-ass stories and manga and manga art and anime and shit like that out there.
It seems like the only saving grace for many is the sexy parts, which are reported to be of higher quality than the rest of the manga, but are of few frequency. Some of Comic Samoa readers are also suggesting the review section as a way to express their disappointment in AI-generated manga. So there you go. People are wondering why it only has 3 stars. That means that there are people upset that it's selling, and they're giving it 1-star reviews.
Well, to be fair, it's probably a mix of both. You probably got some actual hardcore manga connoisseurs who are reading this and like, yo, what is this trash? 1-star review. You got people who are going to say, oh, this is AI. I fundamentally hate AI. 1-star review. You're going to also have the flip side of that on both aspects. You're going to have the people that just, they're so happy with the advent of AI being a thing. They're so pro-AI. They're the AI bros. They're going to give it 5 stars just based on that. You got people that are going to give this book 5 stars because anything with smutty scenes got 5 stars. Like, and then you're obviously going to have the relative folks in the middle who are going to judge this based on what it is, the quality of the content, the story, the narrative, the characters, how good the art is, does it satisfy their entertainment needs or other kind of needs, considering the type of book this is. But the point is, this is going to be all over the place. But yeah, Smash isn't wrong. There's going to certainly be a subset of people who are 1-star rating this purely because of the AI aspect.
And just knocking it down because it's AI. Now that the proverbial Pandora's box has been opened, several speculations have arisen, such as whether the positive reviews for My Dear Wife, Will You Be My Lover were made by fake accounts to boost its reception. Some have even considered discontinuing their usage of Comic Samoa and moving to a platform where AI-generated manga is prohibited. Good luck with that. Hey, have fun. If I was the company, I'd be like, all right, bye. Like, at this, we are the largest bookstore for manga. We sell it all here. You want us to stop selling certain things that you ideologically disagree with? This is a post-translation over on X. Kazuo Ibashi, a manga author and editor who most notably worked on editing Mob Psycho 100 and The World Only God Knows.
You know what? I'm actually pretty impressed. Smash ain't doing too terribly bad in his pronunciation this time around. I'm not sure how you pronounce Kazuki Shibashi, but I think nothing jumped out at me of it being that bad. So, good on Smash. The man who ardently doesn't watch anime or read manga might be doing something proper here.
Notice how Comic Samoa users are more invested in content of the manga and perhaps becoming more nonchalant toward the fact that it was generated by AI, given how normalized the tool has become in recent days.
There we go. That seems to be, post-translation. The reviews aren't particularly heated either, and readers don't seem to care whether the artist is AI or not. Perhaps it's only the creators themselves who are concerned. Has this era finally arrived? I expect it will explode in popularity this year. And again, that is coming from an author and editor who worked on things like Mob Psycho 100 and The World God Only Knows. Yeah, I don't disagree with this at all, because the majority of the people who are paying for the product, this is what they believe. I don't know how many of you guys are musicians or whatnot, but they say there's 2 types of musicians out there, right? There's the musicians that make music for regular people and musicians who make music for other musicians. And by and large, the musicians that make music for other musicians are fucking insufferable. And I imagine it's the same with other types of artists out there. Whether you're drawing anime stuff, whether you're doing painting, whether you're doing sculpting, if you're trying to put your art out there and you want the approval of the people as opposed to the approval of your peers, you're probably going to have a similar outlook. Like, hey, I'm just giving the people what they want. Ain't no problem with that. Frankly, Nickelback is a master of that craft.
So real quick, just take a look at this, because this actually a very insightful post. Finally, Seymour-san's overall first place goes to AI manga. Zun-san has made their move. Complicated. However, it's the era. It seems like 2026 will be a tumultuous year. The reviews aren't that heated either, and it seems like readers don't really care whether the artist is using AI or not. I wonder if only the creators are the ones who are concerned about it. Has this era finally arrived? It will probably explode in numbers this year. Well, not only that, but think about it this way. If you're a fan of manga and you understand what makes a good manga, you could literally become a manga author and artist right this second. You could literally start putting your own manga together with the help of AI.
So he's not wrong. Again, I mean, I'm a purist. It's not a manga unless it comes from Japan. So even if you understand everything about what makes a good manga, sorry, if you're a white boy, you living in America, you ain't making a manga. You're making something inspired by manga. But I'm splitting hairs at this point. Yeah, Smash is correct. And also, this goes back to my previous point. If you're somebody that really understands manga, really understands the art, the storytelling, which, again, it's not like manga's a monolith. It's just like anything else. There's loads of different genres: sci-fi, romance, horror, action, fantasy. The list goes on. So if you're just a good storyteller, you'll be able to tell a good story. But we've got plenty of bad stories. Like, I'm not huge on manga. I'm far more of an anime guy, just because I like to multitask, and it's hard to multitask when you're reading. You're sitting there with a book in your hand, so I can be up and moving and whatnot, folding the laundry, doing the dishes while I'm watching anime. But the point is, yeah, if you're going to be a connoisseur of this stuff, then you've probably noticed there's a lot more bad than good. Just like with any media, most music sucks, most movies suck, most TV shows suck, but then you've got the good shit that stands out. Why is it the case? Most people aren't particularly talented regardless whether they use AI or not. So yeah, you're going to have to wade through a lot of sludge to get to the good shit anyway. So AI has no bearing on that, because that's the way it's always been.
There is nothing holding you back. That should scare a lot of the artists, because now it's opened up the field to anyone that wants to come in and do it themselves and prove to the world that they have a passion project to be able to make this what they want to come to fruition, as opposed to having the gatekeepers behind the book publishers and I went to school to draw these characters. It's no different, by the way, with the journalists in the gaming realm, where they're mad at YouTubers. Like, you didn't go to school for journalism. I don't need to. That's why they hate us. And it's going to be no different when it comes to this stuff too. He surmises that perhaps only manga artists such as himself truly care about this aspect of the creation process, and expects AI-generated manga to become more popular in 2026. Kurosawa says, low-hanging fruit reply, guy move. First off, who cares? Secondly, this won't happen again unless creativity in AI outpaces human work. Well, it will. That's what the concern with AI is with everyone, is every single day that you wake up, AI is the worst it will ever be. The next day, it's going to be better than it was the day before. Lastly,
he's right.
This is technically a good thing. It means that people can't get away with making bland isekai slot.
Base Kurosai Senpai. People can't get away with making bland isekai slap anymore. By the way, Smash, I noticed how you said isekai, Asaki, but whatever. Yes, down with the bland isekai slop. If it takes AI to fucking wreck that genre, then I'm all here for it.
Up anymore, they'll have to compete directly with robots. Publications are likely to create a barrier to entry if there is an influx of AI-generated stories. This would basically ensure that human slop is prevented from being published as well.
Correct.
I think that's actually a banger point right there. I would imagine if this does blow up, that it's going to turn into, there will be AI-only segments of the area for the store, so that if people do only gravitate towards what's hand-drawn by people, they will ignore all that stuff. If it does blow up, and there'll be two completely different segments of the market, potentially. I ultimately see this becoming a one true, people just want what's best.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna smash on that. Well, you might have artificial separation because you're gonna have like these store-facing websites, these storefronts. They're like, here's our AI section, here's our hand-drawn section, whatever. most people aren't going to give a fuck. They're just going to be like, what's the best story? What's got the best art? What's got the best characters? What am I in the mood for today? And the AI aspect will mean literally nothing to them. And these are the same people that, forget that AI is being used in just about everything. If you're using YouTube right now, guess what? You're utilizing AI. So, yeah, the more that becomes normalized, as if it isn't pretty much normalized already, the less and the less people are going to give a fuck. And again, if this pushes people towards having to better their craft to, separate themselves from the AI, that's actually only better for people in general anyway.
They don't care how the hot dog is made. They just want a good hot dog. The same thing I say when I go to the ball game. I don't ask the guy throwing the hot dog to me, hey, what hot dog is, where to get made, what's inside this, and is it good for? I don't give up.
Okay, yeah. You never ask how the hot dog's made. You'll never want a hot dog again. Unless you're like me and you're a fucking goblin and just don't care.
Fuck. I really don't. If it's a delicious hot dog, I'm going to eat it and enjoy the ball game. If the hot dog was made by an AI robot, cool. Literally don't care. If I get gears and bolts that are chipping my teeth, I'm going to have some problems, though. It needs to be good. It has to taste good. With the poor quality of anime in 2025, now I support AI.
Base.
Yeah, no, I hate this. This isn't being adaptive. This is just laziness for instant gratification. That sounds like somebody that would block me for seeing my posts of I told ChatGPT to make her beautiful. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, again, people don't care where the art comes from. They just want it to be pleasing to the eye.
Now, we will say, they don't care where the art comes from. You're always going to have that debate as to whether or not AI art is art. And there's good points either way. I would, err on the side of, yes, it is. But this isn't the place for that debate. Actually, me and Senny have streamed debates about that before, so you can just check that out in the past. But by and large, people more than anything care about where the content is coming from. Most people aren't looking for art. Most people are looking for content.
And that's the way I look at it, too. And that might hurt feelings. That might crack a few eggs to make the omelet, but it's the truth. And a lot of times the truth hurts. And I think this is a very fascinating story, which is why I wanted to highlight it, because I know right now it's just Japanese manga, but just wait, because this is the future of technology and all aspects of entertainment.
Well, it's not just Japanese manga, though, to be fair. Like, what was that Nick Fury show, that Disney Plus Nick Fury show? Not the Inhumans, the Secret Wars? Was it Secret Wars? Either way, y'all get the point. Not Secret War. Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion used an AI opening, right? It used an AI opening versatile cards. And people threw a bitch fit for a couple days. And then guess what? They stopped watching the show because the show fucking sucked. It didn't crack the top 10. It didn't do numbers at all. It wasn't like the whole show was bad. No, the human aspects of the show were so fucking bad, if you can call anything Marvel does human, that the AI intro was like the least of the controversies around that film, or show.
Not limited to manga or comics or books or even video games, but it's coming for Hollywood too. As soon as Suna and the Google ones and all those start getting to the point where user-generated content can be on the level of a Hollywood movie, I'm going to be first in line to create my own movie the way I want to. I think that's going to be the coolest thing in the world. I'm like super excited for that day to come.
Just like Badger's always saying, bro, this is how we fix Star Wars. This is how we gonna save Star Wars. You get to make your own Star Wars.
It's gonna be no barriers, no red tape, no, oh, you can't say that, or you can't do that. You can make whatever you want and then share it with your friends, and then word of mouth will spread it. And if it's good enough, the cream will rise to the top, and we'll have a golden age of entertainment will come from this. And I genuinely believe that. That's why I'm so excited about this. And I know there's a lot of people that hate AI because they're always worried about, well, how's it hurting me and what I've worked for. But
Well, right, but these people that say, how's it hurting me, what I've worked for, these people haven't actually worked for anything. They haven't put in the work to make their own manga or make their own video game or anything to that effect. They're virtue signaling on behalf of others who they think it will hurt so they can get some mafeely good parts points.
We'll see what happens with that, but for now, I'll leave it there. Groofus says, I've been saying this for a few years. We're entering holodeck entertainment age. People can entertain themselves. Yep.
Based. Yeah, excellent video from Smash AT. Got some pronunciations wrong there, you know, again, isekai, manga, but by and large, he's got the right idea. Like, you don't need to be some sort of expert in anime or manga. You don't even need to be a fan of anime or manga to be able to see the concept of where AI is going with this entertainment medium and a bunch of other entertainment mediums and how it's going to be applied, how it's going to be used. Look, you got two choices. You can either accept that AI is here to stay, maybe even jump on an AI train and figure out how to get it to work in your advantage, or you can plug your ears and la 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 and be completely just senseless to the idea of what's happening, where it's going, and be left in the dust. And a lot of people are taking that second option, and it's only going to hurt them. Like, those of us that acknowledge whether you even like it or dislike it is really neither here nor there, because you can dislike it but still acknowledge that it's here to stay. It's the people that are fighting against AI that think that for whatever reason have a thought that they can change it. This isn't the course of where things are going. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Because when the entire tech industry and when first world governments the world over are all pouring billions, if not trillions of dollars into AI, your little posts on X and your little Hollywood fucking protests outside of, on Sunset Boulevard or whatever, yeah, that ain't gonna do shit because that's not where the money is. So yeah, your best bet, even if you don't like AI, is to acknowledge that genie's out of the bottle. This is where we're going with it. As far as how it affects me and the content that I consume, specifically anime, manga, video games, the things that I absolutely love, I couldn't care less. I've seen so much anime slop. Dude, I'm watching a show right now called Monster Girl Doctor, and I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, I got about 4 or 5 episodes left. This is a 4 out of 10 anime if I am being generous. It's from 2020, so there was no AI in there. It's just slop. And I mean that to the actual, utmost, pejorative use of the word slop. That's what it is. Now, it's got some funny moments. It's got some, the music too is pretty good. I like some of the ecchi comedy. But by and large, look, it is nothing special. It will never be anything special. In 5 years, people aren't going to remember it was even a thing. Hell, I'm watching it in 2025. It came out in 2020. People probably don't remember it as a thing now. I just saw it on the watch list and thought, this looks dumb fun. Because sometimes you're in the mood for some dumb fun. Some kind of people that watch Jackass. There's no intellectual value from Jackass. You just want to see motherfuckers get punched in the balls. That's really what it is. So yeah, if you can give me AI-generated anime or manga or whatnot that is at the quality that is, exceeds what I'm seeing right now made by humans, why the fuck would I say no to that? These are just my opinions. Some of yours in the comments down below. Let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about AI or the anime scene, but video games, music, movement, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check us out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles you go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos to react to on the daily streams, and of course get involved with over 250 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to go even further, because we do care about diversity. Only one kind of diversity of thought. That's interesting to you. Join the Discord, subscribe. Until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.